By the time a woman has reached six figures in her business, she's received a lot of advice. And when that advice fails, she doesn't question the advice. She questions herself. Hey, I'm Shayla Boyd-Gill, the Luxe Business Mentor and the creator of the Luxe Scaling System. If you are new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss anything. Here's something that we don't discuss enough. When you're receiving advice, it typically is focused on early stage development of your business. And so the intent of the persons or creator of the advice is usually great, but it doesn't align with where you are in your business in the current day. And so you find yourself absorbing all of this information, leaning in, listening to the advice, but also questioning, is this advice the right advice for you at this moment? We already know that six-figure businesses are not a blank state, meaning you've been through some things. What's usually not taken into consideration is the history, the data, the things that you've already tried, the things that did work for you, and the things that didn't work for you. And if those things aren't taken into consideration, it's really hard to advise on the next best steps for you and your business. So what's really happening is the advice is not wrong. It's just incomplete. When a high-performing woman is not clear on her best next steps, she starts to internalize failure, because one of the things that high performers really love is the trust that they have in systems. And when that system no longer serves them, or they've outgrown that system, there's usually not a good sign that they can see themselves that says you've outgrown this, but instead they need an outside eye to say, it's time to elevate. However, if you're not hearing that advice, you're going to continue to spin in circles and do the same thing and force the same system to support you when it's really not in a place where it can. So it's natural for you to assume misexecution. You're thinking, I did something wrong. It worked last time. I'm not sure why it's not working right now. Let me backtrack and see where I made the mistake. But the reality is, the mistake is you keep trying to do the same thing. So if you're trying harder instead of questioning what's being done, this is your moment to pause. Because the more that you stay in this cycle, you'll quietly erode the trust that you have with yourself. What's really missing is context. The context that you have around what's happening helps to really determine what you should be focusing on. This is the thing that differentiates repeating cycles versus creating new ways of functioning and new ways of leading. Your context will also determine your effectiveness. So what many women business owners will do, they'll go out and hire someone to get the advice and create a strategy. But you cannot create a strategy if you don't have the proper context to build around. This doesn't make sense. So you may be following someone else's system that worked for them, or someone's system that worked for another client. But if they don't have the proper context of where you are, what you've been through, the history that you're bringing to the table, then this can also cause you to experience that cycle of it didn't work for me. This is why it's so important that you focus on alignment over the tactics. The tactics look amazing because we all just want to know, we want someone to say, tell me what to do, right? You want someone to feed you the thing that you should be doing, the tactics, the things, the action steps that you should be taking. But again, if they're not aligned with the history and you don't have that context behind it, it will not make sense. So just know that advice works when it's matched with the right movement. If advice hasn't been working for you, I want you to pause. Stop thinking about the effort and start thinking about the right fit. I've created an amazing quiz for you to be able to diagnose where you are and where the challenges are that you may be facing. And if this is the right moment for you, I encourage you to take the Luxe scaling quiz so that you can determine where you need to focus and you can understand the context behind where you are and where you want to go. All right. I hope you enjoyed this and we'll talk soon.